Hey, my name's Alexander White. I've been working on a wonderful audio drama called Fallen Orbit, written by J.D. Kelly. This was cast exclusively on Skills Hub. Skills Hub is one of the best places for improving your creative skills, and there are so many wonderfully talented voiceover artists on that platform. So all of the actors in this are part of Skills Hub, so it's really worth checking out. Today I wanted to show you a quick tip on how to control your volume levels when dealing with dialogue in an audio drama. First of all, let me just play you a little bit of the audio that I'm working with and highlight a couple of areas where compression can improve the sound quality.
She's adrift.
I think this ship's been out this way for long enough. If anyone's aboard, they'll be looking for help. But more likely she's ripe for salvage. Reston, take us in.
Will do, Captain. Pulling alongside her now.
So you can hear that the will do captain on this line here is a little bit loud. It's just jumping out of the speakers in an unpleasant way. So what we can do is we can use compression to control this. And I like to use two compressors to handle this job. First of all, we're going to go to the main voice bus, so this means all of the voices in the whole project are routing through to this voice bus. And I'm going to start by compressing this here. So that means all of the voices are compressed by just one compressor. And I'm going to start off with something called an 1176. And what I'm going to do with this compressor is I'm going to make sure that any signal that reaches the threshold of the compressor is completely stopped. So the volume will get basically no louder once the compressor starts to react. And that is just to take off the very loudest portions of the signal. So there will be no really nasty, loud, jumping voices that just make the listening experience unpleasant. So let's set this up. First of all, I'll move the attack to extremely fast and the release to extremely fast. So the compressor will react, it will get out of the way of the audio, and we're back into the flow of things. Let's first of all press play and see if this compressor is reacting at all. I've selected the ratio to 20:1, which simply means for every 20 decibels over the threshold, we only get 1 decibel of increase. Let's listen.
She's adrift.
I think this ship's been out this way for long enough. If anyone's aboard, they'll be looking for help. But more likely she's ripe for salvage. Reston, take us in.
Will do, Captain.
So you just noticed on the will do captain that needle just moved very slightly. Let me play it for you again and watch that needle.
Reston, take us in.
Will do, Captain.
Now let's make it a little bit more aggressive than that, just so we can really stop that captain from being an unpleasant sonic experience, something that bites us a little bit too much. Let's move this input up. So what this is doing is it's driving more signal into the compressor. So the compressor is going to react faster to the level, and I'm going to bring the output down to compensate for that level. Let's listen again.
Reston, take us in.
Will do, Captain.
Excellent. So now I'm going to make sure the release is at the fastest because I really do want it to get out of the way. And I'm going to make sure the attack is at its fastest as well. In other words, this compressor is really quick. Let's listen again, see if we've managed to get the right settings to control that will do captain.
Reston, take us in.
Will do, Captain. Pulling alongside her now.
And you'll notice that the compressor doesn't move for any of the other bits of the audio. So the next thing, in order to make sure we have nice stable audio to listen to, is to use a much more gentle compressor. And for this, I'm going to use an LA2A. And this type of compressor is what they call an optical compressor. And it's program dependent, which means it doesn't really have any settings because it's sort of working it out for itself. There's a little bit more to it than that, but that's an easy way of understanding what this compressor is doing. Now, I'm going to turn up this peak reduction until I start to see a little bit of compression on the vocal, generally on the average level. So there'll just be a tiny little bit of movement on this needle. Let's watch.
She's adrift.
I think this ship's been out this way for long enough.
Okay, you probably saw that swing. It's a little bit too much. So let's do it again and just find that point where we're just getting a little bit of a knock on that needle.
She's adrift.
I think this ship's been out this way for long enough. If anyone's aboard, they'll be looking for help. but more likely she's ripe for salvage. Reston, take us in.
Will do, Captain. Pulling alongside her now.
So now we're starting to get a really natural sound. You can't hear the compression working. It doesn't sound like it's added an unpleasant experience, but you just get this sense of control. Let's listen from this point to the "Will do, Captain" once again, and watch both of these needles here and watch how they swing to control that momentary sound and how the sound doesn't sound like it's jumping out of the speakers as much. Then we'll do a little A, B so you can hear the difference. Here we go with compression.
But more likely she's ripe for salvage. Reston, take us in.
Will do, Captain. Pulling alongside her now.
All right, now what I'll do is I will switch off both of these processors and then I'll switch them on, and you'll really hear a difference in the sound of that "Will do, Captain" not being so aggressively loud.
But more likely she's ripe for salvage. Reston, take us in.
Will do, Captain. Pulling alongside her now.
But more likely she's ripe for salvage. Reston, take us in.
Will do, Captain. Pulling alongside her now.
And you hear how the whole of the audio with the compressors off sounds a bit looser, but with the compression on, it's a bit thicker, it's a bit more forward, it's a bit more contained. It sounds more exciting. Once more with the compression.
But more likely she's ripe for salvage. Reston, take us in.
Will do, Captain. Pulling alongside her now.
But more likely she's ripe for salvage. Reston, take us in.
Will do, Captain. Pulling alongside her now.
So that is how you can get control of your dialogue in your audio dramas to make sure that the vocals stay consistent, that the loud sections aren't unpleasant to listen to, and the quieter sections are brought up, giving you a solid and exciting experience. Fallen Orbit is coming soon, and I would love for you to check it out. Thank you so much for watching.